It's the hashtag Simply Cyber, COMMUNITY. Here to break the cycle, this is vital more than you and I. Yeah, it's exciting, it don't matter what your title is. You can grab a friend or two or three or four and invite them in. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Dr. Auger is a OG, got that potion, the elixir, got devotion to all those who keep us showing up to witness. Fit the tricks and quips and all the tips to raise your cyber fitness. Switching up the routines, pass it off to James quicker. Keep the people smiling, hit that follow, that's a good decision. Every week, today, tomorrow, I encourage y'all to listen. We gon' teach y'all way more than how to protect yourselves from phishing. More like being confident so you can recognize a vision. On a mission, it's official, we gon' get through all these issues. Time for jaw jacking, baby, this is more than a tradition, yeah. Oh, I can't forget to recognize the mods. They the engine, they the reason that you leave and feeling charged. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope you find some value in this place and have yourself an awesome day. Simply Cyber's here to stay. So let's all put our hands together ready. Time to hang with Dr. A.
All right, good Thursday morning, everybody. Today is May 15th, Thursday, 2025. This is episode 878, I believe, of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and over the next hour, me, you, Marcus Kyler, Justin Gold, Carrie, Mara Levy. Let's see, hold on, the Chiron. Yes, 878. Dennis Keefe, all the folks getting into Daily Cyber Threat Brief jaw-jacking in the voice chat on Discord. A quick shout out to Mary Ellen and her daughter in the car. A lot of people listening to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief in car line, dropping the kids off, bringing that next gen, the Gen Alphas, into the fold. What's up, Gen Alpha? Good morning. And for Dream Logic, we'll just say hi at Gen Alpha. Guys, we're going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be doing everything within my power to absolutely eviscerate and shred this news to be able to data mine and distill out the essence of what is valuable to you as a practitioner so you can use this information to drive cyber risk reduction down for your business stakeholders while at the same time leveling yourself up as an absolute force in the cybersecurity industry as a professional, just straight up swinging from vine to vine. You got a backpack full of resources, tips, tools, techniques, labs. You just, like, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I'm going to have to get a second backpack for the amount of value coming out of this thing. And everybody else is going to be looking at you at the train station, be like, what? Where did you get all that value? And you're like, bro, Daily Cyber Threat Brief all day, every day. Come at me now. Now, I got to let you know, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, I don't research or prep. Do you know why?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
For sure, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm up here pounding coffee, getting all, socially lubricated, getting spicy, getting hot. I'm just telling you, I don't know what I'm going to be doing or what I'm going to be bringing every single day. Yesterday, I was a little bit demure, a little bit operating at 90% capacity. I got to tell you, today feels like one of those days where I'm unhinged. The coffee's flowing full tilt. The audio video is set up. We are off and running, guys. I got to tell you, it's going to be a good one today. I'm super excited, and I want to thank all of you for taking the time to be here, whether you're getting ready for work, making your breakfast, getting up early. Left Coast people, I see you getting up in the dark. I understand it's not easy, but I want to say thank you because it is awesome. Hashtag Team SC if you're in chat. What's up, friends? And if you got, listen, I always say, basically mining the assets so you can be the best cyber pro in general. But listen, if you're looking to break into the industry, you're going to get value here. You will be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current on the industry? Boom! Dropping knowledge bombs. Daily Cyber Threat Brief is a hell of an answer for that question. On top of it, if you pay attention, if you engage, you will be able to understand patterns, understand terminology. Listen, our industry can be overwhelming. If you're just getting immersed to it, it feels overwhelming. So many acronyms, so many terminology. Everybody else seems to understand, and I'm kind of lost. Oh my God, did I make a bad choice? Listen, just get your face in front of the fire hose. There's only one way. There's one way through it, okay? There's no shortcut. There's no wraparound. You don't get to pay a couple bucks and take the express route like it's Disney World for the roller coasters. Put your face in the fire hose and just start consuming. I'm telling you, it absolutely will work. Daily Cyber Threat Brief, this community, Team SC, all about good times. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, now, guys, listen. The show is sponsored and brought to you by several partners who I absolutely love, which enables me to come at you every single day with the memes, right? It allows me to come at you, bro, right?
Catch me outside. How about
That's right. So let's spend a hot minute talking about them for a second, and then I'm going to tell you how this show can absolutely eviscerate your CPE needs. Now, the first group I want to talk about, let's put a little music underneath. First group I want to talk about, just kind of mixing the order up, Flare Academy, guys, flare.io, their cyber threat intelligence platform. You want to talk about an easy button for people. How about getting rich insights on cyber threat activity if you have compromised assets in your environment that threat actors are talking about on Telegram? All those things, flare.io does. On top of that, I love flare.io. On top of that, they've launched Flare Academy, which is partnering with flare.io. Hold on. It's partnering with Flare. I got to get rid of this song from my playlist here. This is unacceptable. Flare Academy basically brings industry professionals to you to give a rich, deep dive webinar. It looks like once a month. And after the webinar, you can go to the Flare Academy Discord server and actually talk to those researchers and get insights from them. The next one that they have, just to kind of like put rubber to the ground, Introduction to the Ransomware Ecosystem. I'm telling you right now, I am teaching the PBCC course June 2nd through 5th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. If I was not teaching that, I would absolutely be here. These are the insights. Dude, the current ransomware ecosystem, there's no textbook. There's no YouTube video you can watch on that. This is coming from someone who's basically swimming in that murky water and giving you those insights on how threat actors are operating, what their attacks look like, what negotiations look like, the cryptocurrency elements of it. Dude, this is hot. Go here. I'm going to drop a link to this. Go check it out, guys. Like, not only can you learn, but then literally you can go talk to the folks afterwards. Hold on, I'm trying to do this without knocking my coffee. Dude, you want to talk about blowing up a job interview? They're like, what do you know about ransomware? You're like, well, I was listening to this webinar the other day from, I think, Tammy Harper, senior threat intelligence researcher at Flare, and really understanding the way the ransomware ecosystem works. For example, boom, 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 boom. Do you know how much more powerful an answer that is in a job interview than, yes, lockbit, yes, backups? Like, you're going like 4D chess. Go to flareacademy.com. Use the link in the description below. Believe me, you'll be happy. Also want to give you some love about Antisyphon training. Now, many of you are actively in the training that's going on this week, which you can take for $0. Getting started in InfoSec with Black Hills and MITRE ATT&CK. This dude right here, John Strand, not all heroes wear capes. John Strand's doing it this week. Today is day 4, the final day of the training. You still can get some value if you want this training. You can still attend on YouTube. They live stream it concurrently. You can go back and watch it on replay. Make the time. But if you don't have time this week, allow me to just kind of point out, come on now, calendar. Dude, my favorite class that Antisyphon has, Active Defense and Cyber Deception with John Strand. If you want to learn all sorts of fun tools and techniques to frustrate threat actors and basically make them wear, like when you think of a threat actor, you're like, oh my God, are they in the environment? I can't prove a negative. Oh my God, what's going on? With this thing, it's like basically hanging a blinking red light around threat actors' necks. in their environment. They will announce themselves. They will burn themselves. This class is super fun, and you can take it for $0. It is June 12th. It's June 16th through 19th. I'm going to drop a link to this one. If you have a chance, definitely go check it. And if you're on replay or you're driving right now, like Mary Ellen or Zach Hill, dude, just go to Antisyphon, look at their course calendar, and look at upcoming courses June 16th through the 19th. It's all about good times. All right, I got 2 more ad reads. We'll do them a little bit later in the show. But guys, I got to tell you, every single day of the week has a special segment. And today is What's Your Meme Thursday. Dan Reardon, the Haircut Fish, makes custom memes for our community. And I tell you all the time, the guy outdoes himself on the regular. This week's meme is hilarious. I love it. It's become quite popular to try to guess what Dan is kind of hooked into. So let those guesses go if you're interested. Elliot Matisse usually makes pretty good guesses on what it could be. Dan really did it well this week. Guys, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including this one, episode 878, is worth, say it with me, half a CPE. That's right. CPE, CEU, professional development unit, whatever you want to call it. Guys, if you have to maintain a cybersecurity certification, we got you covered. Say what's up in chat. You can see right above my head, Cam Godot, Frank P, Dream Logic. Just say what's up in chat and grab a screenshot. Make sure that you get the title of the show because it has the date right where it says Cyber News Now, May 15th. Grab that. File it away once a year. Count the screenshots, divide by 2. The certification bodies have a pretty distinct thing, like who was it, what was it, when was it, how was it, why does it qualify, how long was it, how many CPEs. Dude, if you just take that screenshot, you'll get all those things. And as boring as webinars can be, if you take a step back and strip all the awesomeness, all the retro synthwaveness, all the cool music and sound effects away from this, this is an instructor-led webinar. Wah, wah, wah. So put the sad trombone away. We don't have to make webinars boring or sucky or whatever. This isn't your dad's webinar. This is a cool hotness webinar. All right, so say what's up. Finally, really quickly, Kinomed announced pre-show that they're starting their first job in cybersecurity. So please, if you'll join me, I'm going to tag him right now. Kinomed Night, join me, please. Yes, sir. Dude, Wrecking Ball. Before we even got into the news, this guy's killing it. Let's go, Kinomed. Absolutely love it. All right, guys. Hey, if today's your first episode, hashtag first timer in chat. If you're on replay and it's your first time catching it, hashtag first timer. I see all the comments. I get into those in the evening. 9 to 9:30 p.m. is my YouTube comments time. I know that sounds like I'm incredibly neurotic and anal with my time, but guess what? I am. But I get a lot done. Because everything's got its own time slot. All right, guys. Do me a favor. We're going to get into the news now, and then we'll be doing... Actually, let's just do the Threat Locker ad. We'll knock this out, and then we're going to hit the ground running. Let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, Threat Locker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with Threat Locker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust Threat Locker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. Threat Locker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how Threat Locker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. All right, hey, squad members, if you can, unleash holy... I was going to say holy heck, but unleash your John McClanes, if you will. Messaged Digested is a first-timer. Welcome to the party, pal. All right, everybody. Mary Ellen in Carline, Zach Hill in Carline, Nick Barker from the Elliptical. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. I'll see you guys at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Thursday, May 15th, 2025. I'm Rich Stroffolino. Steel producer disrupted by cyber attack. Nucor Corporation, the largest steel producer in the U.S., disclosed in an 8K filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission that it suffered a cyber attack involving unauthorized third-party access to certain information technology systems. No other information on date, threat actor, or the type of attack was disclosed. The attack halted production at several locations, although the company began slowly restarting operations. No threat group has taken credit for the attack so far.
All right. So this is a steel manufacturer, the biggest one. You know, dude, it's crazy to me how there's so many companies that I'm not saying I feel like I'm a typical person. Like, I've never heard of Nucor, but they're a $7 billion company. So they're clearly doing something right. Guys, manufacturing is kind of taken manufacturing ransomware attacks was in the high-speed lane on the highway. I feel like in the last 6 to 12 months, they've put their blinker on and gone into the middle lane. They're still going wicked fast and blowing past cars in the slow lane, but they're not in the high-speed lane with the top down screaming money ain't a thing. So manufacturing is back. Healthcare is kind of taken a front seat, if you will, with, the 1A on industries being attacked. But guys, this is a manufacturing company. It's a great target for threat actors. Again, I do not condone cybercrime activity, but we do have to be real and, quite, I guess, sober with our objective analysis of where to look and what to protect. And that's why you got to think like a threat actor, right? Like,
what industry am I going for today? Manufacturing.
Right, so we got to be real. If you work in manufacturing, you're still a very serious target. This company is a $7 billion massive steel giant, which means it has multiple facilities, multiple people. They said that IT systems had gone down. That's fine. Again, like any business, dude, I don't care if you're shoveling dog poop or you're building skyscrapers. You have employees, you have payroll, you have HR, you have finance and accounting, you have businesses have standard back office workflows and processes that all of them have. And if you disrupt those, you will disrupt the business and their ability to make money.
Straight cash, homie.
And that's powerful. Now, and especially manufacturing, where literally manufacturing of all the industries, okay, really quick. When we talk in GRC worlds, GRC Mafia, where you at? When we talk in the GRC world, we talk about how much is a downtime, right? In certain industries, it's very difficult to equate a dollar value with operational downtime. And I actually think this is one of the reasons why manufacturing gets hit.
Yep.
Whoa. All right, hold on now. We got a super chat coming in here. Hold on. Let me get hold on one second. The way I look at it, it's Malware Trini celebrating my 1,000th ticket as a SOC analyst. Don't give up, guys. If I can break into cyber, you can too. Thank you, Simply Cyber community. Thanks for the super chat. Also, Malware Trini, nice job on the blue badge. And also, 1,000th ticket. I feel like 1,000th ticket, you should stand up and run around the SOC like you just scored a goal in the NHL playoffs and you're just fist bumping everybody on the bench. Okay, so manufacturing does make it really easy to equate dollar value because you can break down how many units are you developing a day, how much is a unit sell for, and if a system goes down for 1 day, how many units did you not produce? That's how much money you lost. So really, I honestly think that manufacturing gets targeted because it's easy for threat actors to not have to work to explain to the business how much money they're losing, which means, dude, if this company is losing, let's say, $1 million a day, right? It's a $7 billion company. Really quickly, let me just do some back of the napkin math really quick here. Hold on one second. Calculator. Oh my God. Oh, all right. So my keyboard doesn't work. My C button doesn't work. This friggin' guys, keyboards, it's cool. It's cool to have a mechanical keyboard. You know what's not cool? Having to use an on-screen keyboard reader. I'm going to have to close Chrome now, and ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got
Dude,
time
I
for
hate that stuff. Anyways, I can't do a calculator right now, but just divide 7 billion by 365. That's how much money they're losing a day. For the sake of argument, let's just say that's, what is that, $20 million a day? Is that right? Do the math. $7 billion divided by 365. We'll round it down and say 350 days a year so the math works. That's either $2 million or $20 million a day. Bro, if the threat actor charges you $1 million for the keys and you're losing $2 million a day and you ask your InfoSec team or your third-party incident response team, how long until we can be back up and operational? And they're like, 7 days. Dude, that's a no-brainer. You could be a freshman in your very first day of your very first year of your business degree and be able to do that math. Well, I can lose $14 million or I can lose $1 million. The Magic 8 Ball says go with the $1 million. So threat actors know this. It's a quick, easy, dirty transaction to get paid. So that's why they go. Steel Giant Nucor, they're down. They're probably going to pay. Threat actor hasn't. Thank you, Alpha Sierra. A threat actor has not taken attribution of this one yet. Chances are, dude, the way ransomware threat actors operate now, they probably just haven't gotten to the office and checked their Slack channel to see what victims they scooped up overnight. That's it. It'll happen. Dude, mark my words. I've seen this enough times. Steel Giant, it'll be in the news on Monday. Some threat actor, probably like Dragon Force, takes attribution, and then, it'll be whatever. And then like in a month, they'll talk about how much that cost downtime. So Justin Gold did the math here, and it's $19.178 million. So again, dude, I don't care who you, like, listen, put it on your own family, right? Let's say, for example, just like, this is a simple way. I don't even know, like, everybody probably gets it, but I feel I'm compelled to share this. Imagine if someone locked your doors so you couldn't leave to go to work, right? If someone locked your doors and you couldn't leave to go to work and you got paid daily, right? You're a day laborer or whatever, and you got $100 a day, and someone's like, I'll unlock your front door for $15. You're going to make that payment 100 out of 100 times. You're going to basically be pissed, but you're going to chalk it up to the cost of doing business because I got to get to work. I got to get back to work. I got to start making that money, right? So I'll pay that. And a CEO of a manufacturing company is going to make that decision every single time too. When you're doing your tabletop exercises with the business people, keep that in mind. Here's the final thing I'll say. GRC people, we can't live in a freaking ivory tower. You're not going to get the perfect situation every time. You do have to be real, okay? Period. Full stop. I had a CIO one time. This is like gather around the campfire, kids. I had a CIO one time where we had a cyber insurance policy that would pay out something like, I want to say $250,000, or the policy cost $250,000. I don't remember the exact deets. But anyways, he told me, he's like, listen, your budget is $250,000. Any more than that, and we're just gonna have the insurance policy. Oh yeah, no, it was a $250,000. What do they call the thing? Like, you have to pay that amount before the insurance policy kicks in. I forget. You guys know what the term is. Deductible. He's like, that's your budget. He's like, I'm not gonna pay a single penny more because the insurance policy is there. And I'm like, that's not how it works. But okay, I see you. Let's go.
European Vulnerability Database is online. The European Union Agency for Cybersecurity, or ENISA, announced in June 2024 that it would start work on the database as part of the EU's Network and Information Security 2 directive. A closed beta for the EUVD rolled out last month. Now, a full version is available online. Like the U.S. government's National Vulnerability Database, the EUVD will identify disclosed vulnerabilities. These vulnerabilities will carry standard CVE-assigned IDs as well as EUVD identifiers. It features dashboards for critical and actively exploited vulnerabilities. The EUVD claims near real-time updates sourced from open-source databases, vendor guidelines, and national advisories.
All right, couple things here. Again, not a political show, so you can, if you have some hot takes politically, you can share them, not here. Guys, if you don't remember, dude, if you had like a fever or you were on vacation for a few days, like literally just a few days, remember that Hot Mess Express that like went from 0 to full blown, I got to get this rash looked at by a doctor? When MITRE or NIST in the National Vulnerability Database was going to be defunded and like we were going to lose this. John Hammond made a video. Dude, it was like all hands on deck, people freaking out. And I will say it was quite interesting. As a cyber professional, I was like, holy crap, this is like unbelievable. This would be very, very bad if we lost this. The European Union coming in and basically standing up not competitive, but a similar service for disclosed vulnerability reporting and sharing like almost overnight. So first of all, that's great. I'm not going to be like one of these people that's like, oh, see, they could have done it. Like they've just been like suckling on us for all this time. I love it. On top of it, you guys know, I'm a contingency person. I love having contingencies for my contingencies. Now, if MITRE ATT&CK, if the NIST NVD goes away, we got something. If NIST NVD continues to stay, we've got other thing to compare and contrast, right? So this is good on multiple levels. Plus, from a business continuity perspective, we have options now. The bench is getting deeper. I'm a huge fan of this. Now, what I will say is you got to take a minute and think about who's the minds behind this thing. And I'm not saying like what's their agenda or their objectives, but saying a vulnerability is a 9.8 out of 10 or whatever. Saying a vulnerability, this is how you patch it or whatever. Like, there are humans making decisions behind the scenes, right? So you may get some discrepancies between what a vulnerability is in the NVD and what the vulnerability is in the EUVD, right? So just keep that in mind. There could be some discrepancies. There could be some differences. If you wanted to be cute, right? And I will caution you. What the heck? I will caution you about doing this. You can do this, but you're playing with fire. If you are trying to get something fixed or you're trying to report on something and you look at the EUVD and it's got a higher rating or it's more serious than on the NVD and you choose the EUVD simply because you can like kind of weaponize it in order to make your point stronger, that will work. But the second you start picking and choosing from different sets in order to make your point, you begin to have kind of a essentially like a discrepancy in your core data set, and your foundation starts to get a little bit shaky. I'm just saying, you can use EUVD and NVD and combine them and you've got to be consistent, right? Wherever you're reporting from, whatever your data sets are that you're building your arguments on top of, your decisions on top of, you're making risk assessments and reporting what the risks are. You always have to be able to defend your position and defend your decision. Calculating risk is a subjective exercise, and sometimes you get pushback, especially if you're suggesting that it's a risk that warrants removing something, taking something out, breaking a process, decommissioning something, screwing somebody's permissions over. The second you say something that people don't like, you're going to have to be able to justify what you said. And if you start doing these silly games and F around and find out, you will. So just be careful with that. But hey, you know what? Thank you, EU. I'm a big fan. Let's go.
CISA pauses advisory overhaul. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency announced on May 13th that it planned to stop publishing standard updates on its cybersecurity alerts and advisory site and would instead shift to publishing advisories and other updates through either email or social media. This would end the ability for professionals to subscribe to alerts through RSS. The agency framed the overhaul as a way to prioritize urgent alerts. However, following a flurry of feedback on May 14th, the agency said, "We have paused immediate changes while we reassess the best approach to sharing with our stakeholders."
All right. So the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency reversing decisions on these changes. Okay, so CISA's been hotly in the news, right? They're a sub-agency of the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security gets budget. I think they're actually requesting like $480 million of budget or whatever. But they get to decide how to allocate that out. This is no different than a CIO allocating how much budget goes to the chief application officer, the chief information security officer, the chief data officer, the chief, well, I guess the CIO is responsible for infrastructure. But my point is, CISA has been getting, CISA's been having its mission redefined and having some of its budget cut. So having them reverse this advisory situation is not surprising, but let's see. Let's see what's said. What are we doing here? They were gonna pause. Hold on. What? I didn't hear about this. So CISA offers all sorts of public advisories, right? Like we get notifications from CISA all the time, especially their known exploited vulnerability catalog, which is not exhaustive. Okay. I'm a super big fan of NIST NIST and CISA, as everybody knows. CISA is seeing a lot of different attacks and a lot of things that are TLP red or not publicly disseminated. And so when they release an advisory, they're not just doing it to like send out a social media post once a day. Like they're doing it because they're seeing real problems and they're trying to help private sector businesses. So there's great value in those reports. Now they were going to change, I guess they were going to change their advisory. I don't know. This is kind of weird. I'm sorry. I don't research or prep for these stories, and this one's kind of specific. It sounds like they were going to modify the advisories in order to have it be a subscription model. So you have to. I'm assuming not for paid subscription, but like you have to like get an API key and pull in threat intelligence. And people were outraged by this. If that's the case, I don't know. The argument is that smaller teams like, you know, one-person businesses, Augusta Delgado, Kyle, the people who are like lone operators, the MSPs that are also responsible for security would be screwed by this. But dude, I don't know. Here's my thing. Why does it have to be one or the other? Like if you set up a subscription model and allow people to ingest threat intelligence using APIs and, you know, orchestration and stuff, why do you have to stop sending out the emails? Why do you have to stop sending out the social media posts? Why? Why can't you just do both? Right? And secondly, honestly, maybe I'm missing it, but personally, I'm more into the subscription models. Dude, in 2025, we got a lot going on. We have AI agents that can help us ingest things. We have tooling that can ingest things. API, dude, you can vibe code, right? Ugh, I hate that term, but you can vibe code if you're a smaller team in order to write something that can ingest threat intelligence. If anything, I think having pub-sub models, publisher-subscriber models, which is a design pattern for software, I think that that's a fine way of approaching advisories. So, you know, I don't know why it has to be one or the other.
Australian Human Rights Commission leaks data. The AHRC is an independent statutory body created by the Australian government that receives complaints about human rights abuses. The organization announced that 670 documents were exposed online from April 3rd through May 5th, 2025, and indexed by search engines. These documents contain complaint web form content with private personal information, as well as submissions to the National Anti-Racism Framework paper. The AHRC said the incident did not represent a malicious external attack. It temporarily disabled all web forms to prevent subsequent issues due to a misconfiguration, and requested the indexed search engines remove the content.
Elliot Matisse, I can't. My eyes, they burn. Oh, they burn. Okay, guys, all day, every day, this is Carl. All right. Dude, somebody somewhere clicked the wrong button. Somebody somewhere misconfigured something. I'm not even going to say it was a junior engineer. And by the way, if you're new here, like Message Digested, Carl is a token, IT or end user in our environment that has a human weakness that results in a problem that we have to clean up. Okay, so dude, Australian Human Rights Commission, basically it's a place where you can report civil rights, human rights violations, right? Racism, hate stuff, whatever. Religious persecution. Couple things here. Number one, this is incredibly sensitive data. Okay? I'm reporting that, somebody is doing something wrong. That person could be very powerful. That person could seek retribution. That person could make my life hell. There could be organizations or groups that are very upset that I'm trying to bring down some specific form of racism, which I know sounds insane. It sounds insane to even have to say it out loud, but there's certain people that are really into like racism, and they don't want other people to like slow down their ability to be racist. But so that information's sensitive because it can lead to individuals being persecuted. On top of it, there's photographs and stuff like that. So there could be some really sensitive information in there. It's not exclusively limited to racism. Human rights violations can run the gambit, y'all. Schooling, religious, employment, health details, photographs. So there could be all sorts of stuff. And now, because of a misconfiguration, which is highly likely what the problem was here, this data has been ingested by search engines, which means it's forever on the internet. There's no undo button. There's no Control Z on this one, my friends. AI models have probably sucked it up. Go look at Clearview AI. That's been around for a few years, sucking up all the public information. This is a oopsie that you cannot undo. The toothpaste is out of the tube. The genie's out of the bottle. Insert your whatever metaphor that you can't back up on. Somebody made a bad choice, probably on accident. And because of that, a lot of people got screwed, right? Now, I don't know if this person got fired or not. This is like low-key very bad and could be, you could fire someone for this. Okay. So what's the lesson to learn here? First of all, change control, right? Change control, the configuration management control family in NIST 853. There's a reason we do it. There's a reason you don't just flip switches. It's to control leakage like this. Second of all, this is really sensitive information. So you would hope that they would treat it with the proper level of sensitivity. But, crap happens. So there's not much here. I guess a good opportunity here is if you do tabletop exercises and you're sick of doing ransomware ones because your business is like getting desensitized to all the ransomware tabletop exercises. This is a good one to throw out here, right? If it makes sense for your organization, right? Like if you're steel industry Nucor, you probably don't have like highly sensitive photographs of people. But if you work in healthcare, right? Imagine if you work in healthcare and you have, you work in the cancer place and you've got, nude, basically topless photos for breast cancer patients. Or maybe you work at a larger academic medical center and you're dealing with sexual assault victims and photographs that will be used as evidence. Like that type of real sensitive information can really be devastating for the victims, right? So why don't you bring that up in a tabletop exercise, right? You don't have to show the pictures, obviously, but you could say, hey, here's the exercise. We just got notified that's due to a misconfiguration. All of our sexual assault images data has been ingested by search engine and is now searchable on Google. What do you want to do about that? Right? Like, that is a brain busting scenario to lay out on someone. And it's not one you can stick your head in the sand and be like, hope it goes away. It's not going away.
And now thanks to our episode sponsor, Vanta. Do you know the status of your compliance controls right now? Like, right now? We know that real-time visibility is critical for security. But when it comes to our GRC programs, we rely on point-in-time checks. But more than 9,000 companies have continuous visibility into their controls with Vanta. Vanta brings automation to evidence collection across over 35 frameworks, like SOC 2 and ISO 27001. They also centralize key workflows like policies, access reviews, and reporting, and helps you get security questionnaires done 5 times faster with AI. Now that's a new way to GRC. Get started at vanta.com/headlines. That's VANTA.com/headlines.
All right. Hey, we do this every day, Message Digest at the mid-roll. I'm going to have to do the barricade read as well. All right. Hey, guys. Thank you all so very much for being here. We're at the midpoint. I hope you're having a great show. I really do. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. Guys, thank you to the stream sponsors, ThreatLocker, Antisyphon, Flare, and of course, Barricade Cyber and their Fortify 365 solution. Is your Microsoft 365 environment secure with business email compromise attacks on the rise? Your entire operation could be at risk. Fortify 365 from Barricade Cyber is your defensive shield. Their team of experts implements proven security standards to protect your business from cyber threats, ensure compliance, and safeguard sensitive data. They've helped countless organizations strengthen their M365 defenses with tailored solutions that address real-world vulnerabilities. Don't wait until after a breach to take action. Visit Fortify365.com today to learn how you can secure your Microsoft environment from tomorrow's threats. Fortify365.com. Links in the description below. I've used Eric Taylor and his service to secure a 365 environment that I was responsible for. Great experience. Eric doesn't futz around. He gets right to work. All killer, no filler. In fact, honestly, this Australian Rights Commission leak situation, I'm not saying it was an M365 instance, but this is one of those things where if you'd had Barricade Cyber come in and harden your environment, you may have been able to prevent some stupid S3 bucket or Azure data blob pointing out to the internet, or even the permissions for some junior analyst to friggin' do it. All right, let's go. Thank you so very much, guys. Every single day of the week has a special segment. And Thursdays, oh, I love Thursdays, is What's Your Meme Thursday. Dan Reardon, a.k.a. the Haircut Fish, in chat. And if you get a chance to meet the Haircut Fish, it's an absolute must-do. Put it on your to-do list if you're going to a conference Dan's at. Great guy. I've had many a high five with Dan. Great guy. I've also had a beer with Dan. All right, so What's Your Meme Thursday? He makes a custom meme for the channel. You guys enjoy it. I never censor it. I think I've only censored one time, and it was like a very dicey one. And Dan just made a slight tweak to it. All right, guys, if you missed it last week, Wade Wells, Josh Mason, and myself did a Hot Ones special live stream episode. We ate 10 increasing levels of hot wings. It was spicy. By level 8 or 9, it felt like I had a sparkler on my tongue. It was bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you with your custom meme of the week. I'll just preface it. At one point, I was shaped like a T-Rex, and for some reason, it felt good, and I started talking about doing the T-Rex technique. Ladies and gentlemen, here you go. This is it, the T-Rex technique. There I am in the top right, blowing out fire. I don't know what it was, but the T-Rex technique definitely helped curb the heat. Thank you very much, Dan Reardon, the Haircut Fish. Ladies and gentlemen, your meme of the week. Alpha Sierra is going to lead us off with our la-la-la-las. Let's go, everybody. All right, let's finish strong, everybody. Great work, Dan.
Advanced protection comes to Android. In 2017, Google debuted an advanced protection feature for Google accounts, giving further layers of security for particularly at-risk users, like journalists, public figures, and dissidents. Now, the company is extending this feature to phones running Android 16. Similar to Apple's lockdown mode on iOS, this blocks connections to legacy 2G data networks and disables JavaScript optimizations in the default browser. It also offers intrusion logging, which are stored end-to-end encrypted in the cloud to provide indelible logs that will survive even if a phone or a Google account is compromised. Google will also offer an API for third-party app integration with advanced protection.
Cool. All right. Hey, really quick, Dan says that he hit himself in this picture too. Oh, I see him. So this is like another layer of fun that Dan Reardon has introduced. Pretty much in all of the memes, he actually hides himself. So I'll leave it to everybody. If you want to just pause the stream and find Dan, like a Where's Waldo, you can do that. All right, so guys, if you're running Android apps, you get an extra level of protection. If your executives are running Android, for whatever reason, most executives love themselves some Apple iPhone. But if they're running Android, you might want to look into this, basically just to help protect them from themselves. This is an Android 16. It's important to note that a lot of devices that are not mainline supported forks of Android operating system will not be able to be upgraded. I'll explain that in a second. But the whole reason they're doing this is because basically mercenary spyware, your Pegasus software, your Predator software, everybody that was at the Pall Mall Accords, it is out of control. So basically, Apple is offering this protection that you can enable that it sounds like basically even if your phone gets compromised, there's like a extra layer of protection from the software at the user level software to protect it from getting down and doing bad stuff. It's basically a direct defense against spyware. So I wouldn't turn this on necessarily if you're just like, regular because I don't know what the trade-off is, right? You always have to weigh the trade-off with the protection, right? If this thing makes your device completely unusable, no one's going to use it, right? So you gotta do that. But if you have it and it doesn't really impede your ability to use it, why not turn it on? It's extra value. If you have an executive or somebody with sensitive data or sensitive access or power users, you may want to consider this. The final thing I'll say is really quickly, like if I was going to buy an Android phone, I would buy a Google Pixel. Not because I'm like a Google fanboy or whatever, but you got to remember the Android operating system, as far as I know, is open source. But basically, a lot of vendors can fork the Android operating system for their own operating system, basically for their phones, right? So Google, since they own the main branch of the Google Android or the Android operating system, whenever they release a new update like this right here, Advanced Protection, it's baked right in. So if your phone or your tablet or your computer or whatever is running Google's operating system, you're going to get those updates. Same with like Samsung. Samsung is great. They have a lot of money. They can hire developers to make sure that their fork of Android operating system continues to be supported, because when you start introducing dependencies and custom software and stuff like Samsung does, when Google releases updates, it can break that additional functionality, and you got to hire someone to go fix the coupling, if you will. So when you buy some phone at like Boost Mobile or at a bodega, and it's running like TCL version of an Android operating system fork, they don't have the money or the developers or frankly really give a crap to be able to fix things that break when new operating system versions come out. So what ends up happening is the ability to upgrade is no longer available. Like your phone just won't give you the option to upgrade. And you might be like, why can't I update my Android operating system? That's why. Now, this is just extra functionality, which is cool. And if you don't get it, that's fine. But the real problem is when your device, when security updates come out and you can't update your device, that's when you're basically riding dirty and putting yourself at additional risk, because there's known vulnerabilities, maybe with exploits out available, that you can't do anything about because you can't upgrade or update or patch your device. You literally can't. You gotta patch So that's the deal with Android.
New picks for U.S. Cyber Command coming soon. Multiple military, civilian, and congressional sources told The Record that the Trump administration will name a candidate for the vacant role of National Security Agency Deputy Director before Memorial Day. U.S. Cyber Command and NSA head General Timothy Hoff and Deputy NSA Chief Wendy Noble were dismissed last month. This comes as the administration investigates whether to end the so-called dual-hat leadership structure of the NSA and U.S. Cyber Command. Restructuring the leadership requires sign-off from both the Secretary of Defense and the Joint Chiefs Chairman that the move won't hinder Cyber Command.
All right. I mean, obviously, when General Ho got dismissed, you can't just like leave the position vacant. Someone's got to do it, right? So they're talking about getting rid of this being a dual-hatted position, which is fine, right? Actually, it's dual-hatted right now. Are they talking about splitting it? Yeah. So it was a dual-hat position. Dude, we're talking about 4-star generals. They're basically like executives, right? They're not... Dual-hat works because the NSA and U.S. Cyber Command have very similar missions. If you're dual-hatted, you can make choices that influence both. You have visibility over both. If you break it into two individual positions, that's fine. You are diluting the power. You are making it a little bit more cumbersome to get things done. But, there's an argument to be made in both directions, whether or not you want to consolidate power versus dilute the power. A great example, I'll give you a great example that might make more sense to me and you. If you make the CISO, okay, and this is not unprecedented. In fact, I know one instance where this is actually happening right now at a massive company. If you're the CISO and you get elevated into power to be responsible over infrastructure, okay, so you're not the CIO, but you're taking the responsibility of being over infrastructure from the CIO so the CIO can focus on data and applications, right? That's dual-hatted infrastructure and security, but the power of that is one of the struggles we have in info or cybersecurity is that, hey, you got to patch this thing. Hey, you got to do, maintenance this weekend and patch these things. Hey, you can't push back. Hey, you got to put EDR agents on your servers, right? Well, the CIO, if the CISO is not responsible for infrastructure, that's an uphill battle. If the CISO is responsible for infrastructure, it no longer becomes a conversation. It becomes a mandate. Bro, this weekend, do these things, and if you don't, there'll be sanctions. There'll be problems. You'll get fired, right? So that's one of the benefits of dual hatting and how it can help. In this instance, we'll see. I mean, they said that splitting it and all these decisions would require the Secretary of Defense's blessing. Pete Hegseth is currently the Secretary of Defense. He definitely seems like he's aligned with Trump's decisions, right? So I don't think that there would be any like pushback on that. So we'll see. Again, I hope that they choose somebody who's like super great and super qualified and can seriously help the United States protect itself from a national security perspective in cyberspace, because frankly, dude, cyber, guys, we all work here, right? It's a battlefield. There's only one of them, and AI is extremely accelerating the attacks and all the things that are going on up there.
Exposing North Korean IT workers at scale. Wired shared a report from DTEC Systems that includes a list of over 1,000 email addresses identified as linked to North Korean IT worker activity. Their report profiles 2 members of a group of North Korean developers now based out of Russia, using the personas Naoki Murano and Jensen Collins. This group of developers generally worked for cryptocurrency companies, including Coinbase, creating fake job applications and searching for accomplices. These fake IT workers are generally required to hit specific income quotas, with evidence of military personnel directly monitoring communications so they don't become defectors.
What? What? Okay, so there's a short story here. I mean, the story itself is short. Like, I'm behind a paywall, so I can't get it all. But basically, security researchers are burning some of the infrastructure down of these North Korean IT workers. Okay, 1,000 email addresses linked to IT worker scams are being leaked. Okay, so it's super easy for North Korea to spin up a bunch of new email addresses. So all this is like a speed bump. However, if you're interested, it wouldn't be, I mean, I think this would be like a decent exercise if you've got time. Right? Get this list of 1,000 email addresses, and HR basically has the email addresses of candidates that are applying, people they've hired, right? You can't run this list against your current workforce because they're not going to have, at yourcompany.com email addresses in here. This is the, whatever, Hosung Park at hotmail.com or Jensen Peterson or whatever the hell they said at Hotmail, at Yahoo, at AOL. Every time I see an AOL.com email address, I like chuckle to myself. So if you can, you could run that and just see if you even interviewed an a suspected North Korean IT worker. More importantly, if you hired one, that could be a problem. From what I've heard, you got to remember, well, really quickly, you got to remember these North Korean IT workers, there's like, at least what I'm seeing, there's two flavors of them. There's the one flavor where they're like straight up install malware on their computer, and the whole thing is like a espionage, insider threat type move. But there's a whole other dimension I've seen where like literally they get jobs and they just send their salary back to Mother North Korea in order to fund the regime. So like they are literally doing the work, is my understanding. So they're not going to stand out as like blinking red lights of like, oh, this person's wicked sus. They could be doing the work. Again, this is like a really, really brittle, thin, low value IOC, but it's one you can use if you're curious. Plus, this is a great opportunity to, partner with HR and do some HR stuff, right? Kind of start to bring HR into the fold. As far as, doing some threat hunting and stuff like that. So that would be cool. Here we go.
Ivanti patches actively exploited EPMM 0 days. The company issued patches for vulnerabilities allowing for authentication bypasses and remote code execution, impacting 2 open source libraries it uses in its Endpoint Manager Mobile, or EPMM, solution. In its patch disclosure, the company saw a very limited number of customers impacted by these vulnerabilities. Filtering access to the API using ACLs can help significantly reduce the risk of compromise until a patch can be deployed. Ivanti will also work with maintainers of the impacted libraries to see if any additional CVEs should be assigned.
All right. So if you're running Ivanti, which, by the way, Ivanti was in the news like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, wicked gross 0-day exploits of their VPN, their VPN solution, that like security gateway, and their policy manager. So they were getting popped left, right, and center. Avanti had a bad last 6 months. I don't even know if they're publicly traded. We're going to look in a second. 2 things I want to share with you. If you're running their Endpoint Manager Mobile solution, their EPMM, not to be confused with EPMD, like OGs of the hip hop scene, golden age, then you're at risk. If you're just running Ivanti for like, remote access or VPN, you wouldn't be there. So don't always get wrapped around the axle on like who the company is. Oh, I got to go. Like, it's if you're using this particular solution. The next thing I want to point, so obviously you got to patch it, right?
You gotta patch it.
The lesson learned here I want to give you is this. These 2 vulnerabilities on their own are not really bad. 5.3 CVSS score on one of them and a 7.2 on the other. Now, I'm going to use Eric Taylor and Barricade Cyber Solutions' awesome tool that I always like to use, EPSSlookup.com. This is a free tool that anyone can use. And you can see here, there's a roughly a 1% chance that you will be hit in the next 30 days. It does have a pretty gnarly percentile. it's worse than 75% of the vulns in the data set. Also, I want to look at the other one. And the lesson learned here will make sense in a hot second. Come on. I hate how you can't, like, why can't I copy this? It's like a picture. 4428. 1 second. This one, you even have a less of a chance, half of 1%. So the chances are not great that you'll get hit if you run this thing. Obviously, they're having it exploited in the wild, but it must be sophisticated or you need certain conditions or whatever. What I want you to realize is if you're new, to industry or you're just refreshing or whatever, keep in mind that you can chain vulnerabilities together. So like one nasty vulnerability could maybe not be as bad as two medium kind of gross vulnerabilities that if you pair them together are going to be more devastating, more impactful, more gross. So again, don't always rely just on the individual vulnerability score, whether you're using EPSS or CVSS, because sometimes if you chain them together, it's harder, right? You have to do multiple things, multiple steps, but with enough patience, enough time, enough motivation, a threat actor will be able to chain these together and giddy up on you. I will tell you from a defensive perspective, the nice thing is if you hobble one of the vulnerabilities, right? You patch it or you somehow mitigate the risk, then you can't chain them together, right? So there's you go. All right, final one.
Microsoft extends Office security support. Earlier this year, Microsoft announced it would stop supporting Office apps on Windows 10 when the OS reaches the end of support on October 14, 2025. Now, Microsoft says it will extend support for Office security updates for an additional 3 years to help maintain security while you transition to Windows 11. Microsoft still recommends businesses update to Windows 11 well before that deadline to avoid performance and reliability issues over time.
All right, here we go. If you're running Microsoft Office apps, looks like you've got a reprieve to 2028. All right. It says Microsoft 365 apps. Oh, this is more of a Windows 10 thing. Dude, see, this is not it. It's not Office app. It's the Microsoft 365 apps. I want to know, did they decommission the fat apps? All right, here's the deal. Guys, one of my favorite topics to flip out about, system lifecycle, application lifecycle, whatever. You've got to have a plan, right? You got to have a strategy, a roadmap on when things are going to go end of life. And you got to remember really quickly that you need budget to replace things. Sometimes hardware requires budget. Software might not get security updates anymore. And as a CISO, you're definitely wanting to make those budget requests, not just at the board meeting, but you want them to line up with other tech refreshes, maybe some like out of budget cycle requests when there's a little bit of extra money that you're kind of expecting. There's a lot of techniques. You don't just go and say, "Oh, can I get $1 million to upgrade Office?" Like, it's a thing, right? And you got to have a plan. So all this is going to do, fortunately or unfortunately, is this is just resetting the clock for IT people or InfoSec people who were in charge of making sure that you migrated to supported versions of the apps. Dude, something I've seen in my career time and time again, okay, is you've got something going end of life, right? Microsoft does it all the time with their operating systems. You've got an end of life thing coming up, and they'll announce it years in advance. Hey, Microsoft 7's going end of life in 2018 or whatever it was. Watch out, 3 years away, 2 years away, 1 year away. And everybody's like, it's like setting a deadline for like a project or for like taking Security Plus exam. You're like, oh, like that's just 3 years away. I'll get to it. Oh, that's just 2 years away. That's a year away. Oh, that's 6 months. Oh, that's 3 months. Oh, Jesus, I'm not ready. And then you can buy extended support for some sweet, sweet cash.
Great cash, homie.
So then you buy extended support and they're like, hey, for some money, we'll extend support for 3 years. And you're like, oh yeah, now I'm going to get real about it. So now I'm just stroking a check in order to buy time. I like it. I'll just buy time. 3 years, no big deal. I'm just stroking checks. 2 years, I'm just stroking checks. 1 year, I'm just stroking checks. 6 months again. I can't stroke another check. And then you run around. Dude, I've seen it time and time again where people just kick the can down the road until it's like the last minute. And I'm looking at everybody here who's got a Microsoft server, 2008 R2, and you don't, like, it's a massive pain in the A to update the schema, and you're like, I'll leave it to somebody else. I see you. You got to update it, okay? So anyways, Microsoft 10 support for Microsoft Office apps, supported till 2028. Here's my guess. You won't hear anything about this until about 6 months before the deadline, and then people are going to start chattering about it and freaking out. All right, let's go.
Over the past decade, the CISO...
Nope. Here we go. All right, y'all. Holla, 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 holla. We are straight crushing like a bunch of bosses. Had some people fall off, but for the 362 people here today, thank you so very much. It's wonderful to have you here. As always, I hope you got value from the stream. I'm not asking you to hit subscribe or like. What I'm saying is, I hope you got value from the stream. I get up every morning and deliver these hot takes with the entire intent of giving you value, right? I love to serve, and I hope I nailed it today. I want you to know the value train is not pulling into the station. It's actually going to do another lap with Jawjacking. Jawjacking is a 30-minute Ask Me Anything style show. Any cybersecurity questions, industry, topics, career, certs, whatever. Ask your questions, you get your answers. Eric Taylor from Barricade Cyber is going to be doing the Jawjacking today, live from the remote scene. You'll get mad value. I want to remind everybody that at 9:30 a.m. today, we've got Mastering Cybersecurity Part 2, Securing Systems and Environments. People have really been enjoying the John Hoyt, Stephen Higuerita podcast show that's under the Simply Cyber Media Group banner. And we're going to be delivering another hot one today. So definitely check it out. We'll rate it together. But for now, let's go do some Jawjacking. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful day. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. The sun is starting to come up in non-sunny California. For those who are first time here, my name is Eric Taylor. I am with Barricade Cyber, and I do complete unhinged rants about cybersecurity topics. And if you have a burning question that you want to ask, please make sure you put a Q colon mark in there, and we will take a look at it and see if we can be able to get it answered. I like to give Jerry a hard time because he's only like 30 minutes, but those who've been around for a while know I was sitting here and yammer for 2 hours, and I think he's scheduling these editions of his shows to keep me limited to 30 minutes. Should we go rogue? We'll figure it out. How's everybody doing? What's everybody planning for the weekend? I plan on getting the hell out of California. I can tell you that much today. Seeing the chats coming in, seeing the Dolphins. What's going on, John P? You're committed now? It just took me talking about being all roguelike for you to get committed. That's alarming. Hey, Miss Kathy Chambers, what's going on with you? You're going to assemble IKEA furniture, haircut fish? Oh, many drinking efforts to you, good friend. Many drinking efforts. that there's an old, I guess it's not old joke, but they're at least in the saying, like, if you want to put your marriage to the test and see how well you're doing, get together on a weekend and put together some IKEA furniture. If you can make it through that without wanting to kill each other, then y'all got a good marriage. Bonnie's got some self-care spa weekend booked up. Way to go. That's one thing I can never do, the spa massages and crap like that. Nope. Keith Sloan. What's up, Eric? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, man, we're doing good. What's wrong with San Diego? It's not Charleston, South Carolina. That's what's wrong with San Diego. So, like, I've lived off and on in Charleston area since I was 10. Raised military brat, went in the Marine Corps, and even when I moved away for work, for Marine Corps, and I was doing a lot of, those who may not know, in a lot of the rural areas, there was a cable provider called US Cable, and Comcast bought them out many years ago. And my primary focus at the time was overhauling the head ends, which is like where all the satellite feeds and stuff like that come in. But overhaul everything for US Cable to be compatible with and all the branding for Comcast. So, but yeah, I always find myself going back to Charleston. So that's what's wrong with San Diego. It's not freaking Charleston. I'll be Dorothy and clip my heels. No place like home. No place like home. Oh, if that could only work for my flight back. Airport or airline Wi-Fi it's always been bad. But I have to say, over the last 6 or so months, it's gotten even worse. Like, it's almost freaking unusable. What is your favorite haircut fish meme? I would have to say the one. I know Jerry's in the background. I'm not sure if his screen is. I'm not sure if he's there or not. But there's an older one where it was like America all over it. I can't remember if I was on a shark. I think I was riding a shark with 2 firearms and or a firearm and American flag and stuff like that. I'll have to dig that one up. But yeah, that one has to be my favorite. Definitely not Tay Taylor or whatever the heck it is. The one of me impersonating Trump, talking about a C2 was pretty freaking funny though. That would have to be number 2. I thought it was backing up the trailer to hitch up the truck to the trailer to test the marriage. No, that's typically testing your patience with your kids, because typically you would have your kid back there trying to help direct you. But anybody who's done it for a while knows that it's not that hard of a thing. Kevin, tasked with putting together a ransomware playbook from the desktop team perspective. Any tips? a lot of this stuff is pretty self-evident. I say that loosely. At least to me, it seems pretty self-evident. The one thing I would recommend that most people do not put in their playbooks is who is going to be the point of contact for an incident. AKA, like, and it really depends on the company organizational size. Like, take into consideration if you have remote locations. If it's like 1 or 2 people at a remote satellite office, I'm just going to assume that they're just message back to HQ, and that would be their point of contact, or multiple points of contact. Or if it's a large organization with everybody in a single location, you may be just splitting up that notification to certain departments, like an accounting department or whatever, or does everybody potentially go to IT and then they work it? Another one that I see a lot of people fail at is who is in charge of client communications. All right. So when you're going through an incident, you want to make sure that everybody's message external to the organization is the same. What are you allowed to say? What are you not allowed to say? Are you doing update cadences to your website, or is it going to be via email, or whatever the protocol would be sufficient for your organization? So those are the 2 things I would say definitely weigh in on, because communication efforts can definitely damage company reputation really freaking quickly. Like, communication or improper communication could probably cause more harm to an organization than the ransomware incident itself. I complain about South Carolina, but it's home. Exactly. South Carolina, it's full. Don't move here or move there. I'm sorry for you, DTG. How long do you think it took those who work for the NASA as TAO took to get to that skill level? I don't know what you're talking about, Taiwan Gong. No idea what you're even referring to. Space Tacos, have you done any traveling, or are you done? Have you done any traveling? Yeah, I'm in freaking San Diego. If yes, what's the furthest away from home you've been? Okinawa, Japan, for the Marine Corps. Frontier is a crappy. Dude, I thought Frontier got bought up by Windstream. It really doesn't matter, because whatever, because I mean they're just piggybacking off of AT&T and Verizon's ADSL circuits. So I mean, they're just reselling it to Frontier. And well, so the way that the ADSL is going to work, so you'll have their modem or whatever, it'll be on the circuit for AT&T or Verizon, but it still hits Frontier's DSLAM for registration and authentication to get routed out. So it's a disaster. It's a freaking disaster. Yeah, the Air Taylor Swift is what it's called. Got it. has become unusable, which is a regression from yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would at least be able to get a lot of work done. Like I would know I would have a lot of travel coming up. And I would set stuff up that way I could be able to, remote in. I would like VPN in or whatever. It'd be trashy, but I would be able to do it. And just because an RDP, a lot of an IPsec tunnel VPN, and coupled with RDP is pretty low bandwidth for the airport or for the airlines, right? So I was able to get away with getting a lot of work done by just doing that. Yeah, it's so bad. You can't even do that. Let's see. Oh, click the wrong one. Oh, that is a question. Do you think I can install Windows 11 on my old PC? No, I don't have to read it further. If it's old, no. Windows 11 is requiring way too much. Why? Stop it. Is San Diego just not humid enough? It's not humid in here at all. Like yesterday, it was like 64 windy and I was starting to freeze. So like where I'm at, let me figure out. I'm on one of the bays right near the San Diego airport. So those are local are probably screaming at me very intensely. I mean, I'm right by one of the shipping ports and stuff like that. So, like I'm literally seeing ships right here, not like off in the distance, like they're right here. And see, y'all see how smooth the stream is, and I'm remote. It's because this is not sponsored by any means, but like I've said before, I literally travel with this freaking thing. So I have my own internet connection. I'm not dependent on the hotel Wi-Fi. All seriousness though, if you travel and you're in cyber, you should talk to your boss about getting a couple of those for the team to travel. Right now, I'm trying to get like trying to configure a small Pelican case, because I may want to do. Well, this thing has been really, really good because most of the time I only just need it in the hotel room, right? So like I literally travel with my Apple TV that I hook up to the hotel TV. I have this, so everything just kind of syncs up. And I know, unless someone's hijacking that router, then I got a pretty stable and private internet connection to the. I know it's not truly private, but you see what I'm saying. I don't have to worry about, some of my traffic being sniffed on the hotel Wi-Fi or something, right? There's a level of confidence and the connection that I have. So, yeah, I think like right now, yeah, so in San Diego, it's 58 degrees right now with a high of 68 degrees. I guess it's been chilly this week when I've been here. So, to get back to your question. Let's see. Control F. You definitely got some questions to catch up on. Into that one. What's your favorite place that you've traveled to from Space Tacos? I would have to honestly say, while city life is great to visit every once in a while, it's not my favorite to visit. Like San Diego is way too populated for me. On our flight in, like you didn't see trees. It was just like massive houses everywhere, like stacked the F on top of each other. It was effing insane. No, that's just not the life for me. Like I don't mind. Like I live in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood's part of many others. So it's like the community or whatever. I'm fine with that. But as long as the community is away from some other communities, like there's a distance there, so we just don't all start feeling like we're jammed on top of each other. That's why I don't like amusement parks and stuff like that. Like, I like to go into, just experience a couple things, but like overall, like Carowinds, Disney, stuff like that. If you just truly stand back, like, and you'll see this a lot when you're getting food. It looks like you're just being herded. It's a real put off for me. But to answer your question, most of it is where I like to go is anywhere really where there's like a lot of mountains and lakes and stuff, a lot of countryside type of thing. I like things being quiet for the most part, but I don't want complete remote wilderness type of thing. Like I want to be enough far away where it's quiet, can have some peace. Technology's internet's still a viable thing that I can get my work done, but not feel like I'm living off the fat of the land and starting to grow my own crops. I can get to town, so to speak, in 20 or so minutes. So kind of like on the outskirts of towns and stuff like that, right? So. I'm a little uneasy about these RIFs and different coworkers getting rolled off of projects. Do you have any tips on how to navigate these unprecedented times? It's nerve-wracking. I honestly don't. Well, I guess really just keeping your head down and trying to be a valuable asset to the team is about the only thing you can do. Ultimately, if the company is going to shift management and leadership roles on a project, it's their prerogative, right? Whether it's a good or bad decision will be yet to be determined by the outcome of the project, or at least the phases of the project. But all you can do is just make sure you're not sticking out like a sore thumb. You're getting your work done to the best and trying to exceed professionalism as much as possible, and just trying to make sure you're a solid asset to the team. And just the best of luck to you. unfortunately, it is just, you have to, it's going to be a company decision, unfortunately, at the end of the day. So, and my producer, Dr. Gerald Auger, is giving me a signal in my ear that I need to hurry up and shut up. Is it 60 seconds? All right, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. 190 of y'all beautiful people. I will go ahead and shut up because I know people who like to see and hear the sea shanty, and we'll do the closing remarks. I will see you all. I might try to join the panel tomorrow. If not, I will see y'all next week. Take care, y'all.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same. A criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go. Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your...
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one.